let's build our neckline for our t-shirt body. And to start working on this, let's go ahead and zoom into our neckline area so we can see this most accurately. I'm going to use my keyboard shortcut, the letter Z, like zebra. Switches me to my zoom tool, and I can click and drag so I'm pretty close into my neck area. That way we can work up close. And we're going to just need to get our neckline curve right here. To do so, we're going to use our direct select so we get just single points or segments. And if you recall from the last tutorial, we clicked and drug a marquee around our armhole curve, but it wound up grabbing the segments outside of the last end points, and we had to cut those off. And that's good because you learned some more about other tools. But this time, instead of clicking on a point, which is that point there, or we could click that one point and it'll get the segments on both sides, but we could also click the segment curves. It just really depends on how you want to do it. So I could click this segment curve, and I'm going to hold my shift key down to add to a selection. Now I'm going to select this curve. I think it did it. So, but it doesn't highlight any points, so it's kind of tricky. We're going to try copying that. I'm just using my keyboard shortcuts, Control C, and then I'm going to do Control V for pasting. And it did get both segments. It's just hard to tell sometimes when you do that if you've got what segments you actually have. You could also just single click on that one center front point and it'll get the segments on either side of that point. Alright, so now I want to move this over, so I'm using my selection arrow to treat it as an entire object. And I'm just kind of moving it to sort of stay a little bit more centered into the neck area. Okay, so I've got my curve. Now I just need to build the side and the top edge of my neckband. I will add to that using my pen tool in order to get started on that. Let's move our cursor then for the pen tool over the right hand point for the neckline. I get my slash line, which means I will begin to join onto this existing path. So I will single click. Now I am adding to that, and I'm going to go up and over to the left just slightly, a little bit of, about the width of what I want to make my neckband. And I'm going to click to put a point there. You can see my fill color is filling from that point on over. I'm going to move in here so I am directly above my center point there of the lower curve. All right, and there, that's it. I'm going to click and hold my button down on my mouse so I create my control arms here. And if I hold my shift key, then I begin to constrain it. And I'm going to keep pulling so that my curve kind of mimics my lower curve. There we go. So that's set. Now I'm going to come up here, and if I have my guidelines on, you can see the green line across there. That means it's going to be set directly even with the upper point over on the right hand side. I want to come in just a little bit left of the closing point, so single click here, and then closing the whole object. And you can see I get a actually a little square here, and I'm going to click, and then now it is a closed object. If I need to adjust or edit any points, these are a little narrower than where I set this point, so I'm going to come in here and I can drag this point down just a little bit. So see how it kind of adjusted that for me so that my neckband stays about the same distance, thickness all the way around it. Pretty happy with that. I am going to now move it using my selection tool as an entire object, move it back into place over my neckline curve right there, and I'm going to go ahead and change the color of it. So select that. I can if I want to make it match my sleeves, there's an eyedropper tool over here. I click on it and just click on the sleeve. And so what it will do is pick up the attributes of that object and fill it. So I've got that. And then click away from everything for a moment. Now, to add a little more finesse to your entire drawing is to actually put in the back part of our neckband and the back inside part of our t-shirt. And we're going to do that just by building some very simple shapes. Let's go ahead and use our rectangle shape, and I'm going to come over here and position my cursor at one top corner of my neckband, click, and I'm holding and dragging till I come over to the other corner of my neckband, and I'll make it about as thick visually as I think my neckband should be. There we go. And I'm going to get my selection arrow and click away. Go ahead and close that panel that opens up with all that. And looks kind of odd sitting in front, but remember we can change our stacking order. So we select that one, we're going to go to Object, Arrange, and we're going to send that to the back. And it sends it backwards. I like that. Now we need to fill in the back of the t-shirt here. So we're going to just build another rectangle again, and this time I'm going to make sure that it is, whoops, I did Control Z to undo what I just did. I was in my selection tool. That's why I moved that when I went to click and drag. Now I'm in my shape tool. I am going to click and drag to draw my square or rectangle for the back of my t-shirt. I want to make sure that it would be able to be underneath all the edges of the back neckband and the front and t-shirt and all of that, maybe even all the way down to be sure it's completely behind the t-shirt. And there we go. Now I want to actually make it purple because that would be the back side of the purple. So I'm going to use my eyedropper and pick the t-shirt purple. And then that object needs to be sent to the back again. So Object, Arrange, Send to Back. There we go. And I'm actually going to darken that color. It would slightly be in the shadows. So I can come over here to my Fill Color and double click. And then I get my color picker, and I can just take it to a deeper color purple. And right here it'll compare my newest color to what the original color was. I like that slight change. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and change this yellow slightly too, because again, it's a little bit to the back. Click OK. All right. Lastly, we have a little control over our corners on objects. So let's how do I want to do that? I think I was just trying to pull that in just a little bit, get that corner here, and pull it in. It just took it from being really sharp corners to slightly softened. Now I'm going to click my Zoom tool, Z for Zoom, and I can hold down my Alt key for a minus and click, and it seems to run slow when it wants to zoom back out. We can actually make that faster by View, go to Fit All in Window. There we go. Oh, actually made it pretty big, so now I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so we see the t-shirt. All right, what do you think? If you notice when we were zoomed in, our sleeves were slightly out of line. You can adjust those if you want. Have some fun, but now looks like we have built a little bit of a three-dimensional kind of depth to this whole t-shirt here by adding that neckband and slightly darkening the items that we sent to the back there. Well, that's basically it. How to add some more details. I'll keep posting more tutorials for more tips on how to continue making the best of your line drawings. Go ahead and make sure that you save your file here, and that'll work. All right.